Good morning, everybody. It is Saturday morning. It is time to do something. I think I'm going to spend the first few minutes. Um, hmm, I did try and test to make sure our chat was working, so we'll see. Um, Twitch is getting an ad break. I'm going to do a little bit of cleaning up while I wait for people to come in. Then we'll get to doing some stitching. That's what we do on Saturdays. We sit back, we relax, we stitch. I have some stitches to catch up on from yesterday. Good morning, John. How are you? How are you this morning? All right. I'm going to get some of this stuff cleaned up from the last couple times when we've kitted, and I just kind of leave it sprawled all over the table. Good morning, Kate. How are you this morning? What are you working on? I had a very, very long day yesterday. It was great. That needs to go there. I just feel like if I could organize a little bit, I might not feel quite so enclosed. My trip was good. I left home about Elemental Icons Earth. Very nice. Ink circles, right? Left here about 4:30 in the morning and got home about 9 o'clock last night. It was a long one, but it was worth it. So I need like a place where I keep all the stuff that we kit with. I'm just gonna put it in this drawer for now. Need this to go with the project. Got a couple bottles of water here. We should be good today. Maybe take one of these. Now I'm going to put these little acorns. Y'all remember the acorns? Good morning, Holly. Hope you're having a good day. Pain-free crafts, full coverage. Oh, goodness. Getting the full coverage stitches in this morning. Is that your daily 100 or is that what you're just working on today? So when we kitted up several weeks ago and we used the little acorns, I had extras. It never got cleaned up. So I'm just going to put them in this baggie. So I have somewhere to put them. Trying to do just a little bit of cleaning up this morning daily. Gotcha. I stayed up long enough after I got home last night to get my daily 100 done on Alice, which of course we've got to do this morning. But I did not get my daily 100 on Trick or Treat because Lexi did not drive at all yesterday. She slept most of the drive. So I've got to I worked on it a little bit before stream this morning because I got up and did things, surprisingly. And so we'll have to work on it a little bit this morning. I really need the trash can to not be across the room. There's something in here. Oh, okay. I'm gonna figure out what this is all about. That's a work problem. I spend like the first 3 hours each day that I'm at work um, doing tiny hummingbird stitchery stuff. So not a good day, but I'm gonna power through. You can do it, Holly. I believe in you. Unfortunately, you're having quite a few bad days lately. I do need some sort of trash can. I'm really contemplating rearranging this room because I just don't have a lot of space between the desk or the chair and the wall, really. I could probably get a smaller chair, but that wouldn't be as comfortable. But it's constantly running into the wall. Yeah. So you kind of see what's going on here. I'm trying to get cleaned up. So I have one of these little stack holder thingies. Here we go. Now you can see it from both sides. That I try to keep stuff in. It'll hold my scissors. Oh look, we can put up one fabric. So I just try and keep all this stuff kind of over here out of the way. Flower. This I got at a retreat. Good morning, Ashley. It goes on the end of your sharp scissors. So if I wasn't putting these in here, just store them in my bag so that they don't accidentally cut my fabric or something. Just kind of cutesy. So, that up here on the board. Honestly, good morning, Pocket Roddy. How are you this morning? I'm glad to know my Twitch actually works. Um, it's one of those things I bought and will probably never use, but yet have. Like this is something I got as a gift. It's a laying tool to lay your stitches nicely. I'll probably never use it. Spare needles. We needed those the other day. We got a corner gauge. That's really good for actually starting, which we never seem to do. Official Twitch tester reporting for duty. Very nice. Thank you. This is, I think it's supposed to hold floss drops and stuff. Yeah, probably never use that. In fact, I'm not even going to put that in here. These, I have a bin that I keep these in that basically tells me I need to put, get more floss to put on them. Sometimes when I'm done with a floss card, I will toss it in the same bin and then I will take the strands off of it and put them on these. The correct number, but like, and just have one that's just basically remains. An in case of emergency bobbin, if you will. This goes here. Always have white floss ready to go. PB54. Feel like this goes with my Quirky Quaker stuff. So I'm going to set that off to the side. This was a forbidden fiber we pulled for one of the Quirky Quakers that I ended up not using. So, where is... I'm going to throw stuff here in a minute. We're starting out the morning with a little bit of cleanup, just so that we can stitch and feel less stressed. Okay, these are all week's dye works. They need to be organized. Get some more bobbins that need to go back on the bobbin wall. These are flosses. I used to kit up everything in sandwich baggies with index cards, and these are all ones that need to go back on a spool or a bobbin of some sort. So I've got those. Those need to go in that same bin with the bobbins so that it gets put up at some point. I have a lot of stickers all of a sudden. Okay, we got all the acorns put up so I can find a place for them. Goes over there because I know where they're going to go. Oh, our double-sided tape definitely needs to stay with stuff we kit with. We like that. See, I have another one of those that goes on the end of scissors. This one was a freebie that we got at retreat. They came around. Okay, that's trash. There's trash. We've got our list of people entered into the raffle. That needs to stay nearby. And we're getting some space over here. I'm also thinking I may see about at some point, obviously not today, but pulling out my other stand and having it like this way. Good morning, Sandy. So that because I feel like I have too much right here where my hands need to go, like because I have my Lowry table clamp, I have my boom arm for this camera. I just feel very like I don't have a lot of space. All right, those are trash. I like post-it notes. I also, part of that is when my stepdad passed away, I got a lot of his office stuff and I have a ton of post-it notes. So I might as well use them. There is hot glue on this. I don't know, precision cutter thingy. What's it called? That needs to go back in my tool drawer. We don't use that very often. We tried using it while we were doing a fully finished the other day and it didn't go well. I have a stapler. Like this. Why is this in here? I don't use these. Like, this is a kid leaving something behind. So, I don't get it. Alright, so we got our post-it note because that's handy to have. Was our winner from last time. I still have the fully finished that we didn't fully finish because it started to fall apart on us. Sitting here. Another one of these. If anybody's interested in this, let me know. Because I have an extra one. Or maybe even two. This is a floss holder we got for free at a retreat. The likelihood of me using something like that is very low, but never zero, never zero. Okay, so I'm going to slide this back over here. We're going to put up these flosses and then we can get started stitching. Because I at least have this area cleared up enough. My chats keep going away. I need to get a second screen going in here, but again, I think it's going to mean some rearranging. And I can't quite figure out how to do said rearranging. So, but it is such a mess in here right now. I'm very enclosed. All right, putting these up real quick. Then we'll get started stitching. Is anybody else stitching? Pocket, are you working on some crochet or are you at work? I don't know your work schedule. It is a Saturday, so I would assume not work. 640. 8.2. 2768. 372. $225. I hang my flosses back up over here. Pocket Ratty is crocheting. Very nice. Holly is stitching on Christmas house still for a bit before I have to go to Thanksgiving dinner. Very nice. I did find enough pins to do one piece of fabric, so we'll do that real quick too. Um, what do I keep all my DMC bobbins stored in? Yeah, so I have a floss wall that has an entire set, or should if there weren't spots missing. Um, it'll hold two for each color. This is my backup. I also have one of those double-sided bobbin boxes that I take to work with me or keep in the house with me, whatever. So I'm watching while at work, but after that I'm going to work on my Teresa Kogut Sal. Nice. Just waking up, going to make coffee, stitching on amethyst. Very nice. Love amethyst. I got up and made breakfast this morning. Yes, the wall self-made. I found a couple, they were like slats. They were, hold on, like this big, like this. And I just put nails in every 2 inches because I measured a bobbin. They're about 2 inches. And it's just nails just in there enough to stay and then sticking out to be able to hang a bobbin on. Um, as much as I love it and it makes a great background, I kind of wish I had one of those, what's her name? That Michelle has, where it's like a wall hanging with the plastic that you put all of them in. I would rather have something like that. Just because I think it would keep the dust off of them. Bags Plus, yeah. Yeah. Um, so luckily I haven't had a lot of problem with dust in here, but obviously at some point it's going to become an issue. I also, I have blackout curtains on the windows, so I don't have to worry about fading or anything like that. But those are all thoughts, right? All things you need to think about. Um, Especially because some of those colors aren't used as much, so they're gonna sit up there for a while. Do I have one? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to put this fabric up real quick because I found a couple um, pins while we were cleaning to be able to go ahead and get one more done. So if you're, I do the comic book board method. So I get these on Amazon. They're real thin comic book board, and I lay this out. Sometimes you have to fold it a different way. Like hamburger, hot dog. I don't remember. But basically, so it makes it take up less than half the board. Hi, Suki. How are you this morning? So you see it takes up less than half. And then I stick it in between two, like kind of in the middle. And then let me do this before I fold up that card. Da, 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 da. Great. This does not have a name, which drives me crazy. Stitch Me has been really bad about that lately. It's Burdall. The tire is Stitch Me. Yeah, it's a 40 count. And it has no name, which will change very soon because I need to put something in my notions. I can't just be like all the unnamed stuff. Okay, and then I just kind of fold it like that. And I have these pins that I just kind of pin it on the fabric with. Or pin it to the board with. I pin the fabric to each other, it holds on to the board. I have had it slip out a time or two, but not very often. And then I put this in a box full of my fabrics. I am going to go ahead and put this. This is a newly acquired fabric. Now, all my fabric that I've had prior to Notions, I haven't gone in and inventoried. But as new stuff comes in, I go ahead and put it in my Notion bag. And we're going to give this a name. So, hi, Megan. Our Friday night fight night things are misdyes, so no real name. I would name it Blue Sky personally because it looks like summer sky with clouds. I was right there with you, Megan. I'm thinking maybe like sapphire sky. Make it kind of original because I probably have a few things that I would call blue sky at this point. And this is a little bit darker. I don't know why. Not all her Friday night fight nights are misdyes. A lot of them are extras from her fabric of the month or something that she specifically dyed for Fright Night or something from the line that she had extras of. So I don't know why so many have been unnamed lately. And actually, before I do that, I'm going to check her website and see if she has something that's close to this that I can just use that name. Of course, she has 13 pages of fabrics. This one's blue with white on it. I wonder, there's no way to filter. It's by name, so when we come across something, very true on Sapphire, that's great. Only one cup of coffee yet, so brain not firing all the way. I did get up early enough to make breakfast, so there's that. I have eaten this morning. I am doing enough kitting up lately to feel like my fabric stash needs replenishing, which is not true. I need to actually like start some of this stuff. Well, so is it just me or does that look exactly like the fabric? I'm gonna just flip this over so that you can compare. What do y'all think? Are those the same thing? I'm thinking yes. You called it, Megan. Her fabrics are so pretty. And you got to admit, they photograph well because it's showing up more accurate on her screen than it is the camera. So I'm almost wondering if she gets so busy that she forgets to write on the label. That's what I think happens. So this is all right. So we're going to come in here to Notions. I'm going to go to add a new fabric. There's a shortcut right here. Can I zoom in? Don't. I can't make the big screen bigger. Um, there's a shortcut here that says add new fabric, or I could, well, anyway, add new fabric. I could go into the fabrics database and click new, but anyway. So this is Sky. We've decided it's a 40 count Verdal. The dyer is Bee Stitch Me. Category, we're going to go with bright. I kind of feel like it's bright. It's definitely blue with some white. And it's not associated to any whips. This is just going into my stash. You could put a size. I usually don't. I mean, most of my stuff. Favorite dyer. My two favorites right now are Under the Sea Fabrics and Bee Stitch Me. And Bee Stitch Me mostly because she has Verdal, which is a 40 count even weave that I'm in love with. That's primarily what I buy from her fight nights. Under the Sea Fabric has just been my go-to for years. Fiberlicious is really nice, but I would definitely say one of those two. I'm doing a fabric of the month next year in my shop for Atomic Ranch. So we'll see. I haven't actually stitched on any of their fabric yet, but I'll be excited to get to play with it. So there's so many out there. But her Verdal is perfect. All right, so that will go in my stash. And we're going to get to stitching. I don't know why I'm opening that. All right. Swear y'all, the cough is getting better. What is fight night? So usually I want to say about once a month, sometimes not that often, but about once a month, Bee Stitch Me's Facebook group. And so it's all one word, Bee Stitch Me. She has a Facebook group, and on Friday nights, or like one Friday night a month, around 9 p.m. Central Time, she will post albums full of fabrics, and you have to be the first one to me please it. In order to get it. Sometimes you can be the second and the first person will decide they claim too many fabrics and pass, but the chances are pretty low, I'll be honest. So you have to be quick on the draw. You have to be there as soon as that album loads and you have to know what you're looking for and want. I tend to only get Verdal. So I will just scroll until I see 40 count and then I look through the colors and decide what I want. Sometimes in doing that, I land on a 32 or a 28 that I want, but mostly I just look for the 40. And that helps keep me from buying all the fabrics on a Friday night. But it is a fight, and that's why, because you have to be the first one. But to be fair, she loads, 300 pieces of fabric between the linen album, the Aida album, and the even weave album. So the chances are good at getting one. You just have to you can't wait like an hour after it starts and expect to get one. You probably can't even wait 10 minutes. Do not use phone. Use computer with a mouse and copy and paste. Be ready. Have me please like write it on a notepad, copy it, and have it ready to go. Like it's a lot of fun. I think she does better sales because people like competing for it. Um, There used to be somebody that did bags that way. They used to put up their bags and everybody had to fight for them. There's probably still people out there that do. But anyway, I didn't have the patience for that. I was like, I don't want to have to be there at a certain time, blah, blah, blah. And here I am with these fabrics. But part of the reason I keep doing it is it keeps me buying only one or two um, fabrics. It does help limit me. And like I said, she's one of the few that do Verdal. So I did find out Leslie at Under the Sea Fabrics does Verdal now, though. Fortnite used to do bags like that. Maybe that's who I'm thinking of. Fortnite or Garon. Garon, I think some of their bags, or they used to have that sort of situation with their bags. I don't like theirs because they don't have a vinyl front. That's a personal preference. I like to be able to see in the bag. I don't know why. It just, I do. So we're starting out with Trick or Treat this morning. I still need some stitches for yesterday and then all of today's 100. So we're going to be on it for a little bit. More than 100 stitches on this, just in case you're keeping count today. And then we'll move on to Alice. Alice needs her daily 100. I did get her daily 100 done last night after we got back from my daughter's doctor's appointment. And so we only need 100 there. And then we'll work on my round robin. Verdal is a type. So if you hear about Lugana, Lugana is typically a 28 or 32 count even weave. If you hear about Edinburgh, it's a type of linen. Verdal is a type of even weave that only comes in 40 count, which means 40 little holes per inch. It's very tiny. Like, okay, so this is a 32 count. This is 32 count Lugana. Yeah, Lugana. And so you can see it's a pretty tight even weave. Like, but this one, comparatively, I'm going to really get y'all zoomed in here. Give it a chance to focus. There goes, it's trying. It may be a little too close. But you see where you can see the threads a little bit easier there than you can here. So Verdal just means 40 count even weave. I think the Luganas even have a different, like 28 count is Brittany and 32 count is something else. I don't know. It's just a way of differentiating the type of fabric and the count, both. I just put it in my shirt. That's what I did. I'm gonna fix my camera here. Sorry. Getting close to finishing this block. Of course, I need to get some persimmon ordered. I don't know if did I look for it whenever we went through my flosses the other day? Let me see. It is Weeks Dye Works. Just take a quick look here. Because I think I didn't think to look the other day. I have S&T on this one. I feel like we said all this the other day. Oh, there's P. P-E-P. Peony, Peoria. Pewter. Yeah, I don't think I have any. So I need to order some. All right. So I have the rest of this wing, which is both black and gray. And then that's it for this block until I get that persimmon in. I lied. Hold on. I need to finish up the 100 for this on yesterday, but we have a new project for today. I forgot. Because I watched Great British Baking Show last night. And we have a new star baker this week. Although I have to admit, I was a little surprised because it wasn't who I thought it was going to be. Trying to find my list. So our daily 100 for today is Mad Tea Party. So after we get done with this, we'll do Alice and then we'll pull Mad Tea Party. So I'm going to have to actually go get it. I was ill prepared. I totally forgot today is Saturday and I change my daily 100s on Saturday. Is everybody looking forward to this next week? I know my kids are very excited to be out of school. Well, out of high school for the week. Lexi still has her college. Like she's not getting any new assignments, but she has to do some catch up this week with her other assignments for her college classes. We're doing Thanksgiving at my mother-in-law's on Thursday. So I will definitely not be here Thursday because that is an all-day affair that involves spending time with lots of family. And so we may do a Friday stream, maybe Friday afternoon. I don't really want to do, if I do Friday evening, it'd probably be like 6, because I have other things going on Friday nights, typically. Do you have a preference between DMC and overrides? Um, I don't. I don't. Typically, 9 times out of 10, I will use DMC. I will just DMC convert it, make my life easier because I have all the DMC colors. But I did a floss of the month um, a while back, and I have all these threads now. So if a pattern calls for them, I'll check there first before I do the DMC conversion. Also, in a project like this only has 2. This one only has 2 overdyes in it. One is charcoal, so I just used $37.99 because that wasn't a big thing. But with the pumpkins, I was hoping there'd be a little bit more variegation so that you could see. And I mean, I guess you could see it a little bit, but not really. But since I started with it, I don't necessarily want to change to DMC now because I don't know if it matches exactly. So, doing Thanksgiving today, so it'll be a quiet week for me, but I'm okay with that. Yeah. I mean, I like things like Thanksgiving and getting together with family, but I am also very okay with sitting at home and doing nothing. So, you know, I'm realizing I might have messed up. I think I did. Got a little carried away. And actually, I'm a little surprised because I haven't gotten my work schedule yet. I mean, it's pretty much the same every week, so not a big deal, but with the holiday, Can't help but be curious. Hey, Janet. Hey, I love some company when I'm cleaning, so I hope we make your cleaning quick and interesting. Told boss I'm taking off next week. We're doing Thanksgiving next Saturday. We always have a color theme, so we match in picks. That's cute. Janet's over there singing, clean up, everybody help. Hey, I was cleaning up at the beginning of this stream because it's just more interesting than having to do it by yourself. Yeah, I'm really liking this project, Holly. It's just so good. Look at that cat. Look at that cat's face. Isn't that the most perfect little perfect? Seeing how the grands are helping. Yep. She got little ones helping her. She's got to sing. Floss tube definitely makes house chores more bearable. Yep. I like putting on floss tube or sometimes a makers and crafting Twitch while I'm cooking dinner or doing some dishes. Just makes it better. Trying to make sure I don't have to frog after stream, so I'm gonna have to take breaks and mark the chart. Yeah, I'll stitch that at some point. Yep. Now I will tell you, the bat doesn't normally go under the cat. It's normally down here, um, in the third row, second column. But I accidentally made this too short by one stitch, and what was supposed to be in this block would have meant there'd be no space around it. Even just that one stitch being off. So I moved this one up because it's a little bit smaller and fits in there very nicely. And then I got to just double make sure that when I do the third row of stitching that I don't make my blocks one stitch too short. Visually, it's not super noticeable, but it was going to be if I put the wrong thing in the box. This was actually supposed to be a white pumpkin. I think this is going to be my stitch along next year. The one I split into 12 to have finished by the end of the year. I think it's going to mean bigger stitch numbers each month to get it complete, but it's I think it's my best option. Um I had another one I was looking at, but the stitch counts would have been so little each month, kind of like I did this year, that it kind of felt pointless to do it that way. Oh, speaking of, there's my schedule. Okay, well, I'm not working Thanksgiving, so that's good. And on this one, we're getting close to switching because, like I said, I had some of the stitches already this morning while I was waiting for breakfast to cook. What was breakfast? I picked up some cinnamon rolls yesterday that were hot chocolate flavored with marshmallow icing. So I made it so that the kids could have breakfast, but it also meant I got some before stream. We can go ahead and switch projects now. Because typically I would have put 100 stitches in on this, and I didn't. I will tell you, I had 70 to start out with. So we're going to switch over to Alice. So this is Trick or Treat from Cottage Garden Samplings. It was my daily 100 this week and got most of the bat done with daily 100. So that's nice. Um, it is on a 32 count Lugana in Hestia from Under the Sea Fabrics. So the light is blowing it out a little bit. It's a little bit darker orange than that, but you get it for the most part. So I'm going to switch projects, switch gears here. Where is Alice? Oop, she goes this way. There. All right. So this one is, of course, going to be exactly 100 because I do this block. And Pattern Keeper because it's amazing. This is actually where that other thing comes in that I put off to the side earlier. I need that for this. So this project is exactly one of the reasons why I don't like side clamps, because I tend to put my weight on it and it tends to slip like this. Yeah. Mhm. I always start with the bottommost parked thread so that you're not having to worry about working over threads that you have parked. This project is Mini Alice in a Dolly Dream. There's a cover photo right there. My friend Jessie got that needle minder for me because she and I are both working on Alice. She is doing the full size and I'm doing the mini. It is one that translates well into a mini. Because trust me, I've started some minis and put them away because I was not getting the details that I needed. You get them with this one, so because she's pretty sizable. It's small details that you tend to lose. I was working on mini treasure hunt bookshelf, and there was this white blob in the middle of my page, and I was like, "What is that white blob?" It was supposed to be an owl. You couldn't even tell, and so I said, "Yep, I'm done." Amy Stewart, I do not recommend a mini for her stuff unless it's a crop, because you lose details, and that's no fun. That's not why we stitch, to not be able to tell what we're stitching on. It's all the way over. I just feel like we're really got a crookedness going on here. And also, I don't know why my camera is constantly focusing, because it's not supposed to do that. Can't really see. There we go. I'm gonna tell it not to autofocus while we're, whoops. And here I went and messed it up. I'm gonna tell it not to autofocus while we're working on this one, just because my hand's gonna constantly make it unfocused. I'm gonna get it just right here. And hit apply. Let's see how that does. Now let me pull up my chats again because they went bloop. Another friend was stitching Mini Animal Kingdom and it was terribly blobby. Yeah. Switching to more again. Got 266 on Elemental. Well, that's more than a daily 100. But you had to finish out that strand, right? All right, here we go. Let's try this some more. Got distracted. Hey, I do that too. Oh yeah, I was only supposed to work on this a little bit. I am hoping to get a finish on this one next year. We'll see. I'm gonna be pushing. It's gonna be one of those goals that slightly outside of my obtainable reach. So I'm gonna have to push. Now, I'm not gonna be mad at myself if I don't manage it, but we're gonna try. We are gonna try. Because currently, let's see. Let me get these marked and get my phone. This project has 77,500 stitches. I have done 42,100, no, 42,714. That leaves us with 34,786 to get next year. If I divide that by the amount of weeks in the year, because I'm going to work on it every week, that's 668 stitches a week. Doable, yes. A stretch for me as not a full coverage stitcher. It's going to be a push. And we are going to get a little more work on this year before then. So I should get it closer to the 650 range, which will be nice. For any full coverage stitchers out there, the yearly event for next year in full coverage fanatics is out. Has been released and it's Stitching to the Moon. I forget exactly how many stitches you have to complete. I've got a team that I'm working with, so I'm not expecting to get all 200 and something thousand stitches all by myself, but I'm gonna try and at least put 35,000 towards it. It's one of my big goals next year. And if I can manage it, then Phantom the year after. And then, I don't know. All my other full coverages are way far away because these are my only two minis. There's Epic Pokemon and Aristocats that'll probably get bumped up. But I have a couple full coverages I need to pull out of hibernation. But they'll be on my plate for a while because they're real big. I really do like full coverages. Like, I like the feeling when I complete a block and then you complete a page and then you look at back and see what all you accomplished. I do enjoy it. I just get worn out on it a little bit faster than things that have different motifs. So I like to have a variety of stuff going on. This might sound like a strange question, but how many Nurges and Q snaps do I have? Um, so I made a point year before last to get 30 Q snaps because I was going to have 30 active projects at any given time. I think I should still have 30. I might be down. Actually, I might be up. I think I might have 34 Q snaps now, and I have 6 Nurges. 6, 5 or 6. Eventually, I think I want to move to more Nurges than Q snaps, especially because these, the clamps tend to wear down on the Q snaps after a while. So that's roughly that would be my guesstimation is about 34 Q snaps and 5 Nurges. My goal for a daily 100 on full coverage switching between 3 projects. Oh, very nice. Trying to bring those full coverages into focus a little bit. I don't know if you watch Jessie, Kate, but I was watching her. I know you've been doing the temperature thing, and I've watched Jen and I've watched Siski, and everybody's got a different plan for how the temperature thing works. I'm thinking about picking it up. They keep mocking you. I feel the same way sometimes about my full coverages. They're like, oh, yeah, sure, you can just pick that up and then finish it, but you haven't even worked on me today. So I'm thinking about doing the temperature thing to decide my daily 100s, but I'm only going to have 5. I'm thinking. I haven't completely worked this out yet. It's just been bouncing around in my brain. I'm thinking about having 5, so each one would be 2 numbers on the temperature scale, and do my small ones. So the ones I usually do my daily 100 for at work, and then but it would be decided by the temperature instead of just pick a project and work on it until it's finished, which is what I'm doing right now. Come to the dark side. You know me. I like jumping on all the bandwagons. There's a full coverage mystery stitch along going on for Cross Stitch Studio next year. I was really tempted. I'm like, I barely manage full coverage as it is. Why would I start a mystery one that I don't even know what it's going to look like? What am I thinking? But man, my clicker hovered over that buy button. It's like, but it's only $15. I talked myself out of it finally, but even now I'm like, but it sounds like so much fun. And that was like that whole, y'all know I don't purchase Heaven and Earth designs, but she's doing that stitch along, right? And if you finish, which let's be real, I've had this one since 2018. If you finish, you get free charts. Ooh, well, that's tempting. Why? I'm not going to stitch the free charts. I don't stitch the ones I have now. I have a folder full of Heaven and Earth designs. And do I stitch them? No. Next year, my temp stitch will be whips I want to finish. Now, that is an interesting concept because, like I said, I was thinking about putting my smalls on there. You know, my leap day starts, like Mill Hill, Year of Celebrations. I have a few more that I want to add next year. and I was going to have 5, right? So I was like, but I also have some stuff that'll be close to a finish. So if I add those as the other 5, but then that means keeping 10 projects on me when I'm at work because knowing what I'm going to stitch on is based on the temperature. I don't know. I'm still click, 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 click. I'm doing Hade this next year, roses. For the Sal, or just you've picked a Hade that you're going to work on. Yes. Nice. Like I said, I am massively tempted. When I reason with myself, it makes no sense at all. So I always end up talking myself out of it. Because if we're being rational, that's the right move. But as stitchers, we are known to be irrational. And so my FOMO says, you can do it. Just try. It's okay. Everyone else is doing it. So pick 2 smalls and 3s that you want to finish. That's true too. This is true. Like Jesse, I'm making myself catch up on my shows first before I start that because I have so much stitching to do. Well, I'm doing the daily 100 anyway. I guess I could start it December 1st. Y'all, I'm horrible. Now, somebody like Jessie who likes to do, like, she doesn't like switching every day. So I think she's going to plan for a whole week at a time. Whereas I kind of like the surprise of day to day. Which project am I pulling out next? I don't know. So I may do that. Also, I think it'd make my floss tube a little more interesting because right now, 4 days a week, you see the same project. And then another project you see 6 days a week because it's my daily 100 for the game shows, the reality TV shows, I should say. Look, we can toss around plans in here all day long. Let's go. Anybody else have some fun plans for next year? Or are you still working it out and you want us to work it out with you? It's fun. I love planning, even if I don't stick to it. I only have what? A week and a half until, or yeah, not even until, what's today, the 23rd? We have almost exactly a week until then. Anyway, December 1st is rapidly approaching. Did figure out that I have, well, okay, let me rephrase that. When I sat down the other day and I looked at what I have for Finish That Stitch December, what I would be taking into next year if I don't duplicate designers, when I was sitting down and making plans, I had 12 things that I definitely think I can get done in December. I have 3 that could possibly come into play in December. To like if things just go really well, right? I don't they'd be close enough to be finished if that was the only thing I worked on in December, but because I, start from smallest to biggest or whatever. So I say that I have to go back because I finished the day after I made these plans, I finished a project. So I only have 11 on my Finish That Stitch December. And there's a possibility with a week left of knocking out another one, honestly. So that's why I also have the 3 contingencies. But if I don't get to the 3 contingencies, I'll be starting next year. I would be starting next year with 27. I've seen that temp thing on a few YouTubers' videos. How exactly does it work? Okay. So everybody does it a little bit differently. So you kind of come up with your own set of boundaries, right? But for me, for example, you take the last digit of the temperature, 0 through 9, and you give them each a whip. Or the way Jesse's doing it is 0, 1 is a whip, 2, 3 is a whip, 3, 4, or 4, 5 is a whip. Either way, you set those rules, you set those boundaries. And then, like, I would look at the high temperature for today, which for me is 79. So whatever project was labeled with 9 is what I would do a daily 100 for today. So I'd pull that specific project out and I do 100 stitches on it, put it up, and we're done. Again, your own rules and boundaries, because like Jessie doesn't change every day. So she's going to wait and do a whole week at a time. You know, you can have one for every number. You can have one for, so whatever. It's based on, well, and some people are doing the first number in the temperature, or they're doing the low of the day. It's kind of your game, your rules. But that's the general idea, is you take part of the date or part of the temperature for the day and use it to decide what project you're going to be working on. I hope I explained that okay. So I'd be going into next year with 27 whips. Because I'm separating my duplicate designers. So like Haid, I have 2, well, with some justifications, right? Because who doesn't need some justifications? I have 4 Mirabilias on the go. I would make 1 active and the other 3 would be inactive. 2 come in only if a certain rule applies, like finishing. Let me do Bella. It's a better example. I have 3 Bella Filipinas right now. I have Soul Tropica, I have Hummingbird Pixie, and I have Mad Tea Party. Next year, only one going active would be Soul Tropica, because it is my oldest Bella Filipina. Now, Soul Tropica has gotten a lot of work this year and could potentially be a finish next year. If I finish it, then of course, Hummingbird would take its place. That's my next Bella. Or if I didn't want to wait for a finish, I would have a significant number. Like if it hits 5,000 stitches, then I'll swap them. Soul Tropica would go inactive while one of the others become active. Because I'm doing that to any of my duplicates, and I have duplicate Mira, Bella Filipina, Madame Chantilly. Well, Madame Chantilly is not going to count because both of those are going to get finished and Finish That Stitch December. And Cottage Garden Samplings. So once you take those out, I am down to, okay, let's pretend you're taking one of the Haids out. That would put me down to 20. However, I have 2 contingencies. One is that because this is going to be a focus for a finish piece, I'm going to move out, Phantom into my focus pieces. Those 5 focus pieces I have every month. Because it's one of my oldest whips. It is my oldest whip. So both Haids get to stay on the list. And then, like I said, Trick or Treat is going to be my Sal. And it's my Cottage Garden Sampling. But it's not my oldest. So Heartful of Gratitude will also be on the list. So in that way, I got 2 of them. All in all, I end up with 22 active whips at the start of the year. Then you have what this year I called my leap day starts. I'm going to call it something different next year. I haven't figured out what. And I'm going to have those where I start several of them on a specific day, and then that day each month, if I have finished any of them, I get to start a new one. They have to be finished though. I'm not just going to start and have actives and inactives and blah blah blah. I have 6 of those planned. So that brings me up to 28. And then I'm finishing both my Madame Chantilly's in December, but I have several more in that series that I want to finish. So that'll bring when I start it will bring me up to 29 whips. So basically I have one if I want to stay under at 30, I have one more space to work with where I can have a new start or whatever. Now, in saying that, those 6, I may not get to start all 6 of them in that one day, and therefore a couple of those spots may stay open, stuff and things. But that's my current trajectory there. And then, like, those 3 that I said could come up in December, but probably won't. Those are all close enough to a finish. They will be finished next year. I'm pretty sure Soltropica can be. So it's looking good on the home front. And I'm trying my best not to start a bunch of big things so that I can keep that going. But I like big projects, like some other people I know. I love that when you highlight a symbol on Pattern Keeper, that you can go a little willy-nilly with the highlighting and you don't have to worry about highlighting anything but that symbol, if that makes sense. Okay. I don't have to be like click, 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 because I have lost the pen for this tablet, so I have to do it with my finger. All right. We're on to another color. This block seems to be going very nicely. Hey, I didn't call you out. You called yourself out. You're not the only one in here either, Holly. You know, one of the categories for December, if you follow Whippagories, one of the categories for December is large, and some of my friends were very spoiled for choice. I'm like, oh, I could pick from half my whip list. How is this category even helping me to decide? I need to find that list we made. I think it's right here. Let me see. Yeah. Of other categories that could possibly go on my list for next year. If anybody pops in anybody's head, we're always adding to that. Maybe a little bit. We can always add to that list. See, right now we're working on this blue right here behind the telephone. Kate's like, let's all point fingers at Holly and not look at me at all. Yeah, that's who Sammy was talking about. She was talking about Holly. I don't know if Suki's still here, but she likes some big projects too. She's a full coverage lover. Trying to act innocent over there. I see you. I see you. See where Katniss gets it from. So West Texas can get really cold temperatures, like not typically. Like I said, the high today is 79, right? But we have had some cooler days this last week. We had one where we got down to like 38 at night, and it's been nice. I love not running the AC, but also not running the heater, okay? Because that heater eats up the electric bill. So it was just Casey and I home the other day. The kids were both off doing something, so I'm like, we're not turning on the heater. Just put another blanket on. Just, you know, put it. I've got this sweater on, things like that, you know? And I even at one point when I was cooking, so I was cooking in the oven, and once I was done with the oven, I left it open to cool off so that we got some of that heat. Anyway, just to kind of cut the chill. Yes, I have a heater. No, I don't want to run it. So anyway, we get in bed that night, and Toulouse likes to sleep between myself and the edge of the bed. Um, and he kind of like props his head on my side table. Well, he crawled up to me and he was just meowing at me like over and over and over again. And I was like, what is your problem? You don't meow at night. Good morning, Laurel. Um, so I lifted the blanket and he crawled under the blanket and like snuggled up against me. Like, well, I guess he was cold. And when a cat is full of fur, you know it has to be cold for them to be like, please, please let me under your blanket. Especially Toulouse, because he has whisker fatigue. So he doesn't like a lot of things touching his whiskers. Um, I actually had to switch from a bowl of food to a plate so that his whiskers weren't rubbing the side of the bowl all the time. So laying somewhere where you're like, stuff's touching you isn't something he would typically like. So you know that he was really cold. It was so cute. Yeah. 9:30. Where is my floss? How are you this morning, Laurel? Meant to bring some hot tea with me this morning, but I didn't. Oh, darn. It's- 3:09 is my guess. Gotta run to dinner now. Enjoy. I will get you written down. I hope your Thanksgiving dinner is delicious. Okay, fell asleep in the chair, woke up, went to bed, didn't get back to sleep for 2 hours, so I slept in. We did some stitching on Trick or Treat this morning because I forgot, or didn't forget. I didn't get to get my daily 100 done yesterday on Trick or Treat. I did some before stream, about 70 stitches. So I finished up the daily 100 on it. Now we're doing our daily 100 on Alice. We did some cleaning this morning too, just organizing our space. Not a lot, just the desk that I'm at so that I felt less crowded. We all know there's a, I'll show you. Oh my goodness, look at that desk. It's messy. So there's plenty more. Hey Betty, I'm in and out between store stops, so I'm guessing 3:35. Sounds good. All right. We still have some time yet, but when you can't be here for the whole stream, it's best to make a guess. And it's fun. Right? Well, that's just silly. I parked that thread, but I wasn't finished with it. Not sure how that happened. Okay. Let me just go finish up the stitches with it real quick. Like I even marked it parked on the chart, but I still had 3 stitches left with it. That was weird. And then it looks like we'll have 3 ninja stitches. All those last 3 stitches are different colors. $161. Right. 985 stitches left on the fairy. Gonna see if I can finish the mushroom stem today. Very nice. Laurel's already got her first project for Finish That Stitch December. Have you worked on your plans at all for next year, Laurel? Have any finishing plans? 7. I don't know about that. Let's see. Of course, I'm gonna have to get up. No, the ferry will be November. I know you, Laurel. You realize there's only a week left in November. I say December 1st. That's what I think. Okay, I gotta pull thread. Sorry, fell into the camera. Well, it almost got really bad because it was gonna slide off the table. How many colors is that? Aren't you down to like 2 colors? You have a list of 8 projects to focus on. I want to finish 5 of them. Very nice. I'll pull some other stuff in, not sure what. Cool. Well, 8 projects is a good list, especially if you're planning to finish 5 of them. So I wouldn't worry about pulling too much more in until you start knocking out some of the stuff you want to finish. And I only say that to you because you do tend to focus better on a more narrow. Nope, I'm aiming for Monday. Okay. Are you off work Monday? 1 color left. Oh, okay. Okay, well, 1 color left. You should be able to do it. Monday at work or Monday at home? I can get on Zoom. Good morning, Heather. I should say I can get on Zoom anytime daytime. After 5 o'clock, not so much. Oh, that's not where that goes. Oh well, it's gonna go there. It's fine. We're all fine here. All right, we just got our block done on Alice. I'm off work the whole week. Very nice. I'm working Sunday through Wednesday, so I'll be around. Just holler at me. Beep. All right. So we got 100 here on Alice. Got this block. Actually, I'm going to take a picture real quick because otherwise I forget to do it. And I need it because Sarah says I have to cook stuff for Hell's Kitchen. I don't know. You can go ahead and get this one too. All right. I am going to do a real quick brief break. I need to run in the house and get today's Daily 100, which is Mad Tea Party. Wait, hold on. Let me check some more before I say it. So, let me make sure it's not in this. Nope. Okay, I gotta go grab it. I will be right back. Sandy, I am planning to do a daily 130 for the hard and work the whippagories. Other than that, I'm not sure. Okay. For the Hade. Daily 100, 130 for the Hade. Yeah. I I got there. I got there. Stupid autocorrect. I get it. All right. I will be Right back. 1 minute. I'm going to put the BRB screen up. 1 minute. I'm back. Oh, wrong screen. All right. Let me pull my chats back up. Okay. So I watched Great British Baking Show last night and we got a new star baker. And that star baker's project is Mad Tea Party. So she is my daily 100 for this week. I will fix the focus in just a second. It looks focused pretty good. Maybe lift it up just a little bit. She is very pretty. I really like her. Putting her away next year is going to be difficult. Let me tell you. Difficult. All right. I switch tablets again. She is not in Pattern Keeper. I think if Mira and Bella could find their way to Pattern Keeper and just leave blank spaces where the beads are supposed to be, because so that because Pattern Keeper doesn't bead, right? It doesn't backstitch. So a copy that is just the stitching would make my life so much easier. But when there's a symbol that I cannot fill in because it is a bead, drives me a little cuckoo bananas, I'll be honest. Like this all along right here, all these empty spaces, beads. There's like beads all in here. I don't know. Y'all know. Y'all know. It's just my brain struggles with there's a symbol there, but I cannot stitch it yet. So we're going to put at least 100 stitches into her. I do tend to go over a little bit on non-full coverage. So do we want to work on arm or dress? After the fairy, I want to focus on line is the trick, trying to finish everything except the December portion. Okay. Because you're like, I've got all week. Focus, focus, focus. I even had to put the back stitching in on her face because it just is so good. Dress? All right. Kate voted first. Kate wins. Where is a needle? As long as focus doesn't cause burnout, because we do not want Laurel to lose her stitchy bug like she did last year. I love this fabric. I felt like it was as kooky as Mad Hatter is. It's it's coming out very muted on the camera, but it is a bright green. And I just feel like it went so well with this pattern. I'm a little worried about that, honestly. Well, if you have to switch it up, give yourself like one afternoon where you like work on a mill hill or something that you don't feel like you need to dive full into. Because like if you pulled out under the evergreen or something like that, you'd feel like you were diving, right? Something light that you could throw a few stitches into just to give your brain a break. And then go back to Dinah's the trick and the treat. Just using up these little parked threads real quick. And then we'll fill in some of that other space that got skipped. I had somebody in here on Thursday that was asking about 2/1 stitching. This project is 2/2. So I'm using 2 skeins of floss and I'm going over down 1, 2 holes and over 1, 2 to make my X. Question about fabric. Is there an advantage to getting a fat half to a fat quarter? I feel like most patterns fit on a quarter. Um, if it needs more than a quarter, I'm buying fabric specifically for it. I don't tend to buy a fat half, mostly because of the cost, right? And yeah, so I do find that most patterns fit on a quarter. Um, Now that's not to talk about full coverage. That's just typical patterns. And then if you need more than that, you tend to buy specifically for the pattern instead of buying for stash. I'm going to take it in the sections to finish the months up. November, August only has a little. October only has a little. September is the bunch of small motifs on the lower left. Okay. One. Small bites, right? Small bites. Oops. Oh, no, I'm right. I was like, did I get carried away? Missed that I was supposed to skip stitches. This part is kind of the corseted part on the front. Again, we're trying to get close to 100, so I am going to kind of keep a count. A lot of mini goals and mini finishes, and that helps. It does. It does. I'm all about those mini achievements. Mini achievements. Yeah. So now we're going to find this color and go back and fill in. I feel like Bella or Dren has very beautiful color concepts. Also, good concepts of proportions and details. Because I feel like her hands, I, I mean, I haven't done the back stitch, and of course there's still some stitching, so you don't get a lot of the detail, but, you know, each of the fingers. Um, over here, my back stitching didn't turn out great, so, like, the fingers look a little pointy, but you've got where you would see a couple of fingers, and then the thumb goes along the bottom of whatever she's holding. It just makes sense. The face is absolutely gorgeous. I really like his work. Well, that's what I was getting at. So I do feel like he does very, very beautiful work. And now I want this entire series. This is a series. Um, Snow White came out before this one. Now it's not called Snow White. I forget what it's called. Poisoned Apple, I think. This one's Mad Tea Party, but obviously Alice. There's the Magic Lamp in fur, as you will. What was the last one that came out? Glass Slipper. So, yeah, I got this one because I just absolutely love the colors and like this hat. It's all too perfect. And now I have all four of the patterns and I want to do them all. Actually, I don't know if I have Poison Apple yet. I know I have the others. So I also struggle a lot with collection. It is one of my favorite hobbies. It is kind of an obsession. Is if I get like 3 into a series, I have to do the whole series. Now, that being said, these things take time, and am I going to get around to it? Who knows? But it's always on my mind, and I've at least collected the patterns. So I have the option of doing them all, even if I don't actually get around to doing it. And unfortunately, there's far too many out there that I want to do. Because y'all know I'm working on the Songbird collection from Cottage Garden Samplings. I'm working on those trays, the tiers from Madame Chantilly. Um, Now I've got this one. That's not talking about my small ones like the Year of Celebrations and stuff to that effect. Oops. I knew I was going to do that. There's supposed to be a bead here. I see an empty space and I'm like, oh, we're just filling in. You're in the woods. Yep. Yeah, I'm definitely finishing the fox next month. So I'm going to need a new one of those next year. Well, there went my last spot. My existing Bella. Hold on, I gotta. Greta is one of the ones I might try to pull in next year. She didn't get any attention this year. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't say these are the easiest patterns because, like, you have to skip for beads. There's specialty flosses. There's lots of color transitions. But man, it's some good work. Kate has Bellatrix, right? I feel like you have a Bella. Kate, I just may have the wrong one. Pretty sure Holly has Bellatrix. Bellatrix is very popular among the Bella Filipinas. Yeah. And I really like her too. So that purple in her dress is just perfect. You set yourself a budget each month for what you can spend on cross stitch. I used to. I don't so much anymore. I really should. Um, right now I have like I buy patterns very sparingly because I have so many. So my budget each month is usually like a fabric or two whenever the fight night comes up. Um, DMC, I have full sets, so replacing them, it 50 cents here, 50 cents there. No big deal. Um, I don't really buy specialty flosses anymore. Like I said, all of this was a floss of the month just because I wanted stuff coming in the mail for me back when I could afford to do that. Um, so I don't really have a budget anymore, but other than limit myself as much as possible. But I do know that it's smart too, because it is so easy to travel down a rabbit hole. What you do need to realize is that giving yourself a budget of $15 isn't going to do anything for you. You're going to have times where you don't spend anything at all and times where you blow 6 months worth of budget all in one go. So, yeah, John was asking about fight night earlier. So I was I was explaining fight night earlier. You finished Bellatrix, Kate. That's so good. Cleo, Accent of the Moth Queen, Ascent of the Moth Queen, and a new Sal. Were those all Bellas? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Because you're doing yeah. Okay, the Black Siren Sal, Cleo, Ascent of the Moth Queen. I'm not sure about Ascent of the Moth Queen. Like I can't picture it off the top of my head. That's one of the things I really liked about Bella. Also, was that uh he did Cleo. You haven't seen, not at least not that I can think of, Nora do anything Egyptian. So when I saw that Bella come out, I was like, see, that's something we needed. Yeah. Laurel, at the beginning of stream, I did some cleaning up. I had a bunch of stuff here on the desk that I was organizing, and when I did, I found two of my pins that I put the fabric on the book board with it. So I ended up pulling one of my Fight Night fabrics to organize to put on the thing, and I showed how I do that. And so we got to talking about Fight Night. I have a whole pile of fabrics I need to get on comic book boards, but I can't find my box with all those pins. But like I showed you all the desk, I need to do some cleaning and organizing in here. I also think I need to rearrange. I'm just not quite sure how. I feel like if I could have my stand and my cameras to where I could like sit back and feel like I'm just sitting here stitching versus having to sit to my stitching, that I would probably be able to stitch a little bit longer. Because usually by the end of the 3 hours, I'm done. But if I was sitting more comfortably, I could probably stream longer. But like if I sit back in my chair, I'm knocking stuff off the wall behind me. So it may mean not having this background. I don't know. It's also going to mean getting another boom arm for my other camera because it's sitting on top of the laptop. And if I sit to the side like this, so if I sit like this to where the back of the chair can go against the wall, no problem. And I have my stand here in front of me, which I can't do at this angle. But anyway, in order to have the camera in front of me is not possible right now because it's on top of the computer over there. So y'all would be off to my side, whereas I would want y'all, you know, like this view. So I need a new camera and a stand because that camera won't go on a stand. It's a whole rabbit hole. But I do eventually want to get to where it's a little more comfortable to just sit back and do this. We look at your stitches. Oh, well, there's that. I was tempted to try and get something yesterday to do some finishing this morning, but by the time we got done at the doctor's office and had lunch, we were like, we're ready to be home. We left at 4:30 yesterday morning and got home at 9 o'clock last night. So I was going to get on the Friday night Zoom, but I just couldn't. I was too tired. I stayed up for about an hour after I got home, got my daily 100 on Alice, and watched Great British Baking Show so that I knew who my star baker would be today. And then I went to bed. I was in bed by 10:30. Of course, to be fair, if I do adjust the way that I just showed you, this wall has all my needle minders, so it could still be a pretty background. Was it a small group? I like Friday nights. I enjoy spending it with y'all. I would have been on and off so quick, and it just feels rude. I've been seriously tempted to go back to nights because I just miss seeing all of y'all. I also like feeding my children. I don't know why. So next week, I think we're going to do a Friday evening, um, and Saturday morning. Wait, let me make sure I don't have, no, plans are on Thursday. So I'll be able to stream Friday night and Saturday morning. So you'll get me kind of back to back. The following week, we won't be here. I'm going out of town starting on Thursday and not coming back until Sunday. So we will not be here the 5th or 7th, which are the 2 days I would normally stream. I will not be here. My brother and sister are turning 16, so I'm going to their birthday party. And they live 8 hours away. So, we don't like to make it a quick trip. Ryan has a doctor's appointment that Thursday, and then we'll go all the way to Houston from there. Hang out with the fam on Friday, birthday parties on Saturday, drive back on Sunday. I'm going to do a few stitches down in the skirt. Then we'll park this thread and go back up here because it just makes it a little bit easier for me. Also, quarter stitches. If you are an Aida stitcher, don't do Bella's. Oh, hey mom. The Tuesday after you get back is when I go to Mexico. Oh, fun. Yes, I'm very excited to get to go see the family next week. Where at in Mexico are you going? Hey, Enid, welcome in. You can do Bella's on Aida. Even with the quarter stitches? I mean, I know you can do quarter stitches on Aida. I just know it's not pleasant to do quarter stitches on Aida. Because you have to pierce the thread. So something to think about when you're trying to choose fabric is how you feel about doing quarter stitches on Aida. It's fine. This one has a lot of quarter stitching. It also has like this. Those are done. It's charted like that, which I thought was interesting. Vallarta. My middle brother moved down there. My oldest brother and I are meeting up with him. Oh, that's awesome. Laurel and all the brothers. I'm one of all the sisters. My poor brother has 3 older sisters. Luckily, 2 of us were grown when he was born, so he doesn't actually have to live with 3 sisters. So, maybe not so much poor him. If the situation were different, I'd feel bad for him. My younger brother isn't going. You were hoping for a whole family get together, sibling get together. All right. So this little hole is beads. I do highlight the beads on my pattern in a different color so that hopefully that triggers my brain to be like, okay, it's fine to skip over that. Even if it doesn't tell it it's fine, it tells it we know that this is a bead. So I don't have to go searching, right? So even this little corner here is beads also. I need to look that symbol up. Yep, that's a bead. So I'm going to grab some more of this color that we were working on earlier. What up, bud?
What up?
You'll have to move that back. Belinda's son lives with 3 older sisters. This is true.
You keep putting stuff in the chair.
Well, you know. Have you seen the place?
Yes. You need a bigger shed, is what I'm hearing.
No, I need to clean and organize, but I don't like being out here by myself.
Started messaging an old friend on Insta, the one that used to live down there in the corner house.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, since he moved, last year, he's already moved 2 towns.
Some people do that. Some people move a lot.
I was sure we could.
I'm glad we don't, because I did when I was a kid and I did not enjoy it.
But she was so boring.
Yeah, whatever place I ever lived was boring too, so.
Let's go. That's
If you say so. You want it?
Huh?
Do you want it?
Sure, what even is it?
I think their intention, let me see, was you put like stuff like this where it has a hole on this thing. I think was the intention.
I don't know, but it's just sick.
Yeah, you can put it on your backpack or whatever.
Our stream going.
Good.
How many people in it?
16.
Oh, wow.
That doesn't include my Twitch because for some reason it doesn't pull up my Twitch numbers.
I could probably pull up your Twitch numbers. Yeah, it's PlayStation.
I ended up with one of each.
It shows 2 people on your Twitch.
And then it's probably you and someone else.
No, 4.
Huh? Oh, okay. Cool. Let's see. I have Ryan and Lexi. I got one of each.
Well, boy and a girl.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's disrespectful to people.
I was telling them how basically Corey has 3 older sisters.
Oh, yeah, it's an issue.
But since we didn't all grow up in the same house. My husband is one of 4 boys.
Now, I can see that being an issue trying to take care of.
Hi, Haley. How are you?
I feel like everything you get would get destroyed.
Did I hear we had more information on the next release? Is that what I was told? I knew you were working on it last time. I am stitching on Mad Tea Party from Bella Filipina. This is, I believe it's a Joblin. Yeah, 32 count Joblin in Eudore from Under the Sea Fabrics. I was so happy with, you know how sometimes when you go to kit something up and the fabric just screams at you and it feels so perfect and it makes you just love that project even more? That's this fabric. Who knew Sal's released yesterday? My goodness. What are you doing to me, Haley? Yes. His colors just. Hey, Suki, are you using a hoop and a stand? I'm using a Q-snap and a table clamp Lowry. I'll pull it up a little bit. It's gonna be a little out of focus, but yeah. Q-snap. This is the Lowry head with the table clamp. What? So I tend to either use Q-snaps or Nurges. I do have a couple hoops, but I don't use them very often. Have to get both. Is that why you came out here?
A little bit.
Are they different or they're two versions of the same thing? I'm looking it up. I'm looking. Stitching Cabin Co. on Instagram. Or Stitching Cabin. Excuse me.
I don't think you ever told me when you were going to bed last night.
I don't know.
So I just walked down, nobody was out there. I was like, what the heck?
Yes, I've only just recently tried burgers, but they are so good. Oh, Nurges. I'll bet it auto-corrected Nurges to burgers. I feel like they do keep it very tight inside the Nurge. Okay. So I'm looking. Nurges, not burgers. Yeah. I'm kind of okay. So you said the Great Outdoors, choose your own summer 2025 mystery stitch along coastal summer. The Great Outdoors. These two are both the same. Okay. We're gonna show a picture. Oh, so there's coastal summer or the Great Outdoors. See? You see the two parts of the picture? There we go. All right. Get ready to embark on an unforgettable stitching journey with our 8-month mystery stitch along. This year, there are 2 summer samplers to choose from. Will it be coastal summer or the great outdoors? Are you feeling ambitious? Tackle both. So, this is okay. So, she first had this winter band sampler, and then the autumn, and then she had a spring one, and now she's got 2 options if you want summer. Either coastal summer or the great outdoors. It'll kick off January 1st. And Kate's already signed up for both. So I definitely prefer the Nurge over a Q-snap. I get that. It's lighter. It does give a little bit more room because Q-snaps, they take up quite a bit of room with that tubing. I'm actually fixing to need to switch Garden Prelude over to a Nurge because it is one where I have very little fabric allowance and the Nurge is great for that. Q-snap's not so much. All right, I'm going to park that for just a minute. We're going to finish up this color here. Sometimes I like to do that. Sometimes I like to keep working it, and sometimes I like to finish an area. So if you're interested in a summer band sampler where you can choose between coastal and great outdoors, check out Instagram Stitching Cabin, or her website is stitchingcabinco.com, right? or stitchingcabin.co. I know this. Stitchingcabin.com. I did the winter one. I haven't done the others, but y'all know how I am about series. I'll get to them eventually. All right. That color? Sometimes I don't trust um my symbols that I write on my card, and I have to go double check that yes, that's the one we're stitching with. What's up, bub?
You know, it's so difficult for me when watching stuff like the Green Arrow with Dad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over here like, have you seen this part? Have you seen this part? But I'm like, but what if he hasn't? Then that just spoils it.
I know. I think he's seen most of it, but it's hard to say. So after we get to 100 on this one, we'll switch to my round robin. I did bring my Nerge for my round robin today. I was thinking about doing a Sal. How do they work? Okay, so all of them are different. But for example, like Haley's, you'll pre-order it between now and January 1st. On January 1st, this one's a mystery stitch along. Now there are different kinds of stitch alongs, but this one's a mystery one, so you don't know what it looks like. She usually gives a sneak peek, or you can look at the past Sals because it's part of a series. But so you'll know this one's a band sampler, and on January 1st, she'll release the pattern for the first band. And then she will, like, every so often, I think she says it's 8 parts, so I don't know what the schedule is. But each part will get released, let's say, once a month for 8 months. And so you'll get it at that point. A lot of people like to, I think people just like saying Nerge. A lot of people like to keep up with them. So, they'll finish that first part in January. Then when the second part comes out, they jump on it, get it finished. But you don't know, sorry, you don't know what the end result's going to look like because it's a mystery stitch along. You get surprised. There are stitch alongs where you already know what the pieces look like, but yet they come to your email box once a month, once every couple weeks, whatever the schedule is. So mystery samplers are fun, or mystery stitch alongs are fun, but I have known people who either ended up disappointed or they were like, well, if I had known what it was going to look like, I might have changed this detail or that detail. So it's not for everybody, but it is really fun, like to not know what's coming. Is hers the Mystery Kitty? I love that one. No, hers was a band sampler. Mystery Kitty is something different, but it's kind of the same concept. So I knew it would be a cat, obviously. Hers was split into 4 parts, and it kind of built from the center. So like you got the nose at first, the nose and the eyes, I think, and then like the cheeks, and then the little, and built out 4 different pieces that way. And it released every 2 weeks. So you got all 4 pieces within a couple months. She's getting so close to finished. She's going to be top of the list starting in December. I spend December focusing on finishing up things that are just, they're right there. Like Mystery Kitty. She should have been finished months ago. Um, she hasn't gotten the focus and she's really close to being finished. So I will pull her out, finish her. I will not stitch on something else outside of my dailies, you know. But until I finish her, whoops. No, that's right. No, that's not.
Is it right or is it not?
It's not. Um, and then I'll pull out the next thing that's closest to a finish it. And I do that all through December. Like I said, I currently have 11 projects I think I can get done next month because they're just that close. What is a band sampler? Okay. So this is her autumn band sampler. So you see how they're different bands, you know, they repeat a pattern for a little bit, but then the next, you see different bands that pile together to make one long sampler. Look at those squirrels. I really want to do autumn at some point. Squirrels, hedgehogs, acorns, pumpkins, cups of spiced tea. It's really good. So this was her autumn one. Here, there's the autumn one kind of further out, and her winter one. So it'll look something similar to this, but with either a coastal or an outdoor theme, depending on which one you purchase. Look at those leaves. It looks so good. So it's going to have, you could buy one of these two themes for the summer. So like it'll probably have a band of seahorses, which I love. I love seahorses, or jellyfish with other designs. Okay, now I want it. Talked myself into it. Haley's patterns are very clear, very easy to, yeah, it is. It's clear, it's easy. It's not a ton of stitching. Like, obviously, the bands with the squirrels are going to be bigger than the band of border right above it. So some months you may have 500 stitches, some months more, but you don't have to keep up with it. You can come back and do it whenever. It's great. I did the winter one. Hey, bub, are you able to get into that bottom, on the bottom row, there's that plastic bin?
I can't reach it. Ugh. Yeah, sure. What's up? What about it?
Can you hand it to me?
The whole thing?
Yeah. It's just stitched there.
There. Let's see.
Feel like it's in here somewhere. Yes, here we go. So this is, do they work with Pattern Keeper? I do not know that. Kate, do you use Pattern Keeper for it? So here is my winter band sampler. I love you. This one was 3 colors. So you needed to pick 2 colors, a light and a dark, and then something sparkly. And so, I can't remember the section releases. I feel like all of this was one section, one band. You didn't try and put it in Pattern Keeper? Okay, so we don't know. Now, even if it did, things like this little back stitch between the mittens, of course, wouldn't. But this is my winter one. So I picked a dark color and a light color that I liked, and then I got a little sparkly blue in there. And this one was 12 months. So I'm thinking the other one may be a little bit smaller. Look at these negative snowmen. So this is my finish of her winter band sampler. Those trees, y'all. So that's what mine looked like. And this is one of the ones I need to go back and take half the fabric off because, or I may just stitch one of the summer ones on it. I don't know. So Ryan's like, okay, mom, put me to work, so I'm just gonna leave now. That. Nope. Well, let's just do this. All right. Let's see where we're at. I'm pretty sure we're done with our daily 100. Thank you for the follow. Actually had an alert. New Sal's from who and what? I had to mute for a few. Okay, Stitching Cabin. It's stitchingcabin.com or she's Stitching Cabin on Instagram. She does band samplers. So, or she has done a series of band samplers. Sorry. She did a winter one a few years ago, autumn right after that. There is a spring one. Bye, Kate. Have a wonderful day. I got you down. Um, Anyways, she's about to release her summer version. And there's going to be two options. Either the great outdoors. Excuse me. Either the great outdoors or coastal summer. You can buy either one or both. And it'll start January 1st. She said it's 8 months. Pre-orders started yesterday. Starts January 1st, runs until August 1st. So the first of every month for 8 months, you'll get a piece of the sampler. So check it out if you're interested. All right, and we got to over 100 on this. We still have some time, so I'm going to switch to my round robin. And we'll get some stitching in on it. Last switch of the day. It's getting warm in here, so I'm going to actually take off my sweater now. Might be too cold to not have it on. Y'all know how that goes, right? Not cold enough for warm clothes, not warm enough to not have warm clothes. How do you know what flosses you need? After you purchase it, you'll get like a welcome email. Show my partner your stitch and they said it was pretty. Oh, thank you. It was this one is it's called Mad Tea Party. It's from Bella Filipina. I gotta turn my autofocus back on. So basically she's like Alice in Wonderland, but they can't officially call it that because, copyrights and stuff. All right, there we go. And so this is, I've started first on the border over here. I haven't moved on to the border over here yet because I really wanted to get into her. She's so pretty, and she's not like, this is the first page. I have 1 page done out of 4. So there's that one. Yeah, so when you sign up for it, she will email you a floss list. And I do believe she does all DMC. And she, there in two, like when it came to the winter one, she said, here's what I picked, but basically you need a dark, a light, and a sparkly. So, I'm guessing with animals, she'll probably have a little bit more of a color list, but okay. Do you stitch, Pompey? Saturdays, we just sit around and stitch some. Um, my Thursday night streams, I kit stuff up and then we stitch. So, all cross stitch all the time around here. I have a slight obsession with it. Just is what it is. This is an urge. This is one of the smaller ones, but it's going to work well for this. And I'm actually going to turn it sideways because I'm working on a wider area than I am a tall area. This is Tiny Towns, Frosty Town from Heart in Hand. I'm doing a round robin. So this section from the snowflakes to the house was done by the owner of the project. This section was done by person number 2, and I am stitching this section right here. And then I'm going to pass it along, and there's 2 more people before it gets back to its owner. This one was a nice one to be able to split into 5 bite-sized pieces. My urge is almost too tight sometimes. Okay, there we go. Let me do that the other way. There's a reason. Lay it down. I know how to put a urge on. No, I don't. It's all crooked. There we go. I'm not native speaker, so not sure what the term stitching contains, but I do like crafts. Awesome. Well, that's important. For me, cross stitch is I sew making little X's. So, where are you from? What is your native language? That way I can put the tightening thing inside my Lowry here. Finland, very nice. Welcome in. All right, so here we go. This is going to stitch so much easier than it did the other day when we didn't have the nurge on it. Oh, goodness. Round robin. Very bottom. All right. Boom. So I'm going to work on the house just so that I'm not too close to the Lowry because it bothers my hand that way. So we need the plus floss. Thundercloud. The owner of this round robin, she did all called 4 threads. So let me find Thundercloud. There it is. Because I don't want to have to flip this over, I am doing what I call a waist knot. So I am making a little knot in the thread, but because I don't want to leave the knot on the back, because this person does not make knots, I'm going to, yeah, we're loving the round robin. I really feel like, well, and I know people who, there are big groups of round robins where they will assign you a couple people and y'all go from there. I'm doing this with a few friends that I know enjoy the same thing. Because the person whose project this is does not use knots, I will leave the knot on the front so that I can clip it later. So I'm just going to kind of park it down here. There we go. And then start my stitching. That way I don't have to flip it over and run it under some stitches. But after I've got some stitching in, I can clip it off. So I will show you in just a second. Oh, also this is a specialty floss, which means I make each X individually when I remember. Got a weird tail here. There we go. Does that work for one strand also? Yeah. Yeah. So once I get a few stitches in to where I know that it's pretty well anchored, and I'm kind of running my needle along to make sure I kind of grab some thread, but I can, you see that this little knot, I can just pull it up a little bit and cut it. Maybe my scissors are being, there we go. And now you don't have anything on the front, but we are secured on the back. And then if you are a person that wants to flip over your project, you could clip it shorter, but I don't worry about that part. Out of curiosity, why the individual stitches? Because some specialty flosses, not necessarily all of them, but a good portion of them have some sort of transitional variegation to them. And so if you go across the row and you come back, that if it variegated during that, it makes it look a little more muddy, which some people like. That could be a look that you go for. I'm not aware of how this person would prefer their stitches to look, so I'm going to go with making each one individually. So if you look at the tree, you see how this side is a little bit darker than this side? It's because I stitched going up this side and came down, and there's a slight tonal variegation as you do that. So this tree looks a little darker on this side, which is fine. Because if you think about if the sun was on this side, you'd have shadow over there. So it works, right? It's all about how you want it to look. And then if you don't really know, you just make one stitch at a time and go whichever direction suits your fancy. And I know plenty of people with variegated floss that will do that. Is it typewriter method or English method, where you go all the way across and then come back and cross them? It just blends the variegation in versus it, because like sometimes this can get stripy, or really depends on which direction you take the variegation. These are not highly variegated threads, so you don't notice it a whole lot. In fact, that tree is the only one that has enough stitches for me to really go, oh, look, there's some variegation in that floss. But especially if you have a floss that changes colors, like some of the big silks where they'll go from like blue to green or green to purple or whatever, then you definitely want to do this so that, you know, you don't get all the way to the end, it's changed colors, and you're coming back across and putting a different color on top of the first color. I am struggling here. All right. It's very much a preference thing. How do you want it to look? I have, what is that fabric? This, that's a good question. Where is the notes? Where's my bag? Okay, so luckily this person gave me notes. This is 32 count vintage Stormy Night. She doesn't say who it's by, but it's very pretty. Vintage Stormy Night, and it's a printed fabric, which means that this side is gray and mottled. This side is just a solid gray. So they printed the modeling on the one side. But she doesn't say whose fabric it is. So I'll go across and come back on threads like that where it's not terribly variegated. Yeah, on mine I probably would too. Again, not my project, so I'm just doing individual stitches. But it was kind of nice. She wrote a card. She doesn't mind that I tell you. Zweigart? Yeah, that makes sense. Zweigart. So this project belongs to Janet Jabber. She put a little card in there. She started September 10th. This is the name of the chart. She did the called for flosses and 32 count vintage Stormy Night. This is the stitch count. She did a 3-inch border all the way around, so it's 17 inches by 8 inches is what the fabric is in total. The actual stitched area, of course, will be minus 3 inches on all sides. So, and then what's really cool is on the back side of her card, she has, what is that noise? Motorcycle. Okay. This is like a calendar of the year. And because I stitched on it, today is the 20, I don't think this calendar's right. What's today? The 23rd? 23rd is not Monday. It's a Saturday, but that's okay. I'm still going to mark the 23rd. That's what I stitched on it. So far I stitched on it the 19th and the 23rd so that she'll know, and I'll sign it. Sarah stitched on it those 2 dates, and Janet stitched on it those 2 dates. This card, I'm so making one of these for my next round robin. It's the coolest thing ever. I like it. And then it can like be tacked on the back of the project when you frame it. Also, something else, if you're ever in a round robin, to discuss with your group mates is directional stitching. We all know that the cross stitch police's biggest issue is all your stitches need to go the same direction. The top leg needs to be the same no matter what. However, in saying that, it doesn't care which leg. So all the people that I'm stitching with make the top leg of their stitch go this way, like this. The top leg, the second part of it, goes from top right to bottom left. No, top left to bottom right. I'm opposite. So I spoke to my group and I said, if you want me to stitch the same way as you, please tell me, because my instincts are not gonna stitch that way. But if you say, I want all my stitches in the project to go the exact same way, then I will do that. My group is more of a do what you want type group. And so we all agreed that I was allowed to stitch mine how I wanted to stitch them. Because the nice thing about that is Janet's going to be able to look at this project and know exactly where I stitched because I stitch opposite of everybody else. So that's kind of fun. But it's definitely a discussion you need to have, because I wouldn't want somebody to get their project back and be like, well, I'm not even going to hang it on the wall because some of the stitches go the opposite direction. Now, all of my stitches will go the same way, so it's just this one section that's going to go this way instead of this way. But if you ever join a round robin, make sure that's a discussion that you have. I heard rumor on one of the Twitches that I watched, and I don't know if this is going to happen, but if so, I might jump in on it, maybe, about a round robin where you send a whip. Like most round robins, when we decided this one, we all decided we wanted to do a tiny town. And it just so happened to work out that we all chose a different tiny town. So, we get to stitch on something new all the time. Sometimes you all pick the same one and you just agree to stitch in different sections, whatever. But they're talking about doing a round robin where if you have a whip that you haven't felt like stitching on, but you want it to get some stitches, then that's the one you send around the group. And there's no intention for them to finish it. It's just they're going to do some work on it and then they're going to send it to the next person, and then eventually it gets back to you. Just so it gets some sort of progress on it, whereas it's languishing at home. Now, y'all know my projects don't really languish, but that's not to say I don't have a project or two that I wouldn't mind somebody else working on for me. A UFO round robin. Kinda. Heidi Stitcher, Fibers and Floss Canada, and Lady Lugana did the round robin whip. Oh, okay. So they've done something like that before? I think it's great, especially if it's something that, you've gotten kind of stalled on. A good one for me would either be my family patchwork or my ink circles, just because at this point I could work on them, I could not work on them, I don't really care. And so having some other people work on it for me for a little bit would be really cool. There's something going on out there. It's a lot of noise. Honestly, I think he started a motorcycle and it scared a kid. She's screaming. Okay. Yeah, this one hasn't started yet. It was just a discussion on a Twitch that I was watching. So, I'll be interested to see if it happens, and I'm going to be tempted. I'll be honest. I kind of want to do it. So, we'll see. That is a single strand. Why is there a single strand? Holly volunteers for ink circles. No, she's pretty dead set against ink circles at this point. And what's funny is the one that I have, the growth rings. It's not perfectly symmetrical like the ones we were doing with the first round robin. So she might not dislike it as much, but it also only uses 2 colors, which I think is where she ran into issues. Because my piece in the ink circle round robin had multiple colors and she didn't struggle on it. It was the ones that only used 1 color. It's noon, the alarm's going off. That she struggled with the most. So okay, again, I'm gonna do a little bit of a waist knot just because I don't want to flip over the project. Actually, yeah. I'm not gonna tie an actual knot though. Come over here. I also, this is just a me thing, but in case you wanted to know, if I'm going to do a waist knot over here, I do try to basically, if you've got a 2/2 stitch, right? So it starts here, it ends here. There's this stitch that you skip in the middle. That's the one where I'm going to put the thread, so that as we're making X's, I know for sure that thread is laying in the middle of whatever X's you're making. If you make it towards the top, well, sometimes you might miss it, or the bottom. So by getting that middle part, I know there's a good chance that when I make my stitches, I am covering up that thread. Megan, when you were talking about those people the 3 people that did the whip round robin, do they have a floss tube where they talk about it? Or is it like in a group or something? How'd you find out about it? Because if so, I would really like to go watch it. I find these things fun. All 3. All right. I'm going to add to my floss tube list. Heige Stitcher floss tube. Okay, look. We're just going to do this before I forget. And I'm probably butchering that name. Once I go watch her, I'm going to be like, look at me. Have a good lurk, Pocket. Pocket Roddy is off to gather some crafting inspiration. We'll keep the stitches going. Finally enable the floss tuber. Maggie. Oh. Stitcher. I try my best to follow as many. Now, saying that, look, subscribed. I don't always get around to watching all the people that I follow because I follow so many. But if you need a subscriber, I am here to be your subscriber. You said fibers and floss. Canada. Okay. Why didn't it give me a follow button? I'm going to add that Whip Parade right now to my watch soon. I love a good Whip Parade. Look, we're just going to do this. All right. And what was the last one? Lady Lugana. I like that name. Okay. Subscribed. There we go. I just signed up for this out. Go, John, go. John, do you have an Instagram? Am I following your Instagram? I need to, or Facebook, or how can I watch you enjoy your first stitch along? I would like to do that. So for some enabling, if you haven't already, you could use followers. Don't Run with Scissors. Don't Run with Scissors has a floss tube. I think I already follow you actually. Don't. I do not. Look, subscribed. Don't Run with Scissors 9802. In the same way, I subscribe to all the floss tubes I see for support, but don't watch them all. I mean, you can't watch them all, but you never know when somebody that you subscribe to but don't necessarily watch all the time a video is gonna pop up and you're gonna be like, ooh, I need to see that. Trust me, I'm constantly watching somebody random, especially during whip parade season, which is coming up rapidly. Although I feel like we got a lot of whip parade throughout the year this year, but so I want to do this too eventually. This is another thing I need to add to my list. I want to have, okay, right above my head, you see the little thing that says there's 11 people watching. Above that, I want to have a box where any floss tubers that join us get put up there for everyone to see. You have a Facebook, but don't really post. Think about creating an Instagram just for stitching. Do it. Do it. Everybody in here says, do it. So basically, like, whenever Don't Run with Scissors comes in, I would put their name up at the top. For the whole stream, everybody will know that that's somebody that's visited with us and you should reciprocate, right? Laurel Ann, that's here in chat today, she is a floss tuber. Usually like once a month, once every couple months. She's not one of the ones you have to watch every month, so easy enough to subscribe to and keep up with. Kate, that was on earlier, she is one half of the Fickle Stitches here on FlossTube. Her and Cheryl make some really great videos. I love them. Who else was here today that has a floss tube? Oh, Enid, Itching for Stitches. She has a floss tube. Hi, Karen. Welcome in. So, I'm all for enabling all the people. I'm all for supporting all the people. Kate and Cheryl are so funny. I love their show. You know, another one, this one's not here today, but I'm going to shout them out anyway because I find myself literally laughing out loud every time I watch one of theirs. Hold on, I got to find what the name of their YouTube is. They're called Sloppy Stitchin', like with no G, Stitchin' Sisters. Those two, because they're sisters, because of the way they interact with each other so naturally, crack me up. I laugh so hard. So if you're looking here, they're great. I highly recommend them. It was so crazy. I have been on FlossTube for over 7 years. I'm in my 8th year, hence the season 8, whatever. Yes, they and Hathaway Stitchers need to come with a pee before you watch warning, or you might wet your pants. I completely agree. I don't know the Hathaway Stitchers. I'll have to look. But when I first started doing it, of course, I'm not an extroverted person. Like, going out of my way to talk to people is difficult. But it took one of the floss tubers I was watching to say, you should do it. It's okay for anyone to start a floss tube. And I was like, anyone can? They're going to be okay if this random person who's been stitching for not that long starts a floss tube. And so I made my first floss tube, and like, I didn't make it public. I made it public, but I didn't like go to a group and say, hey, I started a floss tube. I went to one friend. Who also did floss tube, and I had played in a couple. Huh? Her name was Brenda, and I had watched a couple of her, or we had been in a couple Stitchy games together. And I was like, hey, I did a thing. Tell me what you think. And by the end of the day, I had 100 followers because she went and told a bunch of people. And I was like, I wasn't even sure I was going to make another one. And now I kind of feel obligated. And so then I came home and I showed my husband. And he was like, no, it's good. You should keep doing it. And here we are, 7.5 years later. So KEB Studio Creations is trying to get more subs. She's a designer too. Thank you, Heather. She actually used to get on my Zooms. Like I've like sat and talked to her, so I'm pretty sure I follow her already. But thank you for the shout out for the rest of the room. KB Studio Creations. Yeah. Yeah, I already follow her. So if anybody else needs a new person to follow, KEB Studio Creations. Yeah, she used to get on Virtual Stitchers and Zoom with us. What?
2 unfinished water bottles.
It happens. Quit drinking my soda.
I'm thirsty.
Drink the water. There's plenty of water.
But that water isn't tasty.
Go put some of your flavoring packets in it.
No. That's what I have to do because,
You're normal?
the trash isn't full.
Okay, what about dishes?
I have no idea. But he's watching.
If you'll put up the ones that are on the counter, it's only like a few. And wash the easy ones like plates and bowls. That's good. Okay?
That's my 2 chores.
At least for now until later today when I need more help. But that's all I've got going on this morning. Who knows?
Are these been?
Yeah. I need to get my stuff together for my whip parade, but it is such a big production and I only have like 15 whips. Oh, Heather. Heather the Confetti Stitcher. She is also on YouTube. Ryan.
What's the issue, mate? What is this?
It's threads that need to be put back on bobbins.
45, 335.
Yeah, I always do my whip parade and my finish parade at the end of the year. And my plans parade. Or parade. You know, plans video. So like the last week, all of December you get a video from me every day because I do vlogging. Okay. I vlog all year long. Most weeks I take the whole week long vlog and I put it into one weekly video. During December, and I think I did this during August too. Anyway, I do it every day. I upload it every day or as close to as I can manage. And so, but the ones at the end of December, they're those extra videos, you know, the whip parades, the finish parades, the plans. Sometimes I do a yearly recap. It all depends on how crazy it gets. All the good stuff comes at the end of the year for me. That is all of this symbol in this section. Heather likes those big full coverages. Are you doing full coverage fanatics next year, Heather? The stitching to the moon? That happened. I'm gonna go about 15 more minutes, probably like one more strand of floss, and then we'll tie up today's Saturday stitching. What's up? And we're going to be renovating our house and trying for another baby, so I don't want to let my team down if my stitching takes a nosedive. That's understandable. You can get on one of those big teams where everybody needs like 5,000 stitches and you'll get it. I have a few really big teams out there. Some more snow because, you know, it's everybody's favorite. I already don't like my white stitches. I feel like they don't lay as pretty as some of my other stitching. So that's one of the reasons I didn't even consider doing it when we were stitching in hand Thursday. I've gotten lazy with posting pics to group too. I mean, it's only most important that you're stitching. What? I see. What?
Instead of a picture of my friend eating pizza. I don't know why, but when looking back at that, I thought that was Vicente for a second.
I'm doing that one. Like, I don't usually do full coverage fanatics, but I really want to push myself to finish Mini Alice in a Dolly Dream next year. So I'm going to use that group, that event to make that happen. Take a lot fewer pictures without any challenge groups left. I mean, it makes sense. I take a picture every 100 stitches no matter what, but I don't necessarily post them all. So there's that. And I think next year my photo dumps onto my Facebook page are going to change to just like one per month. Cuz so that you actually see significant progress. Skein. This length of thread is a little too long for me typically. I don't like to work with such long lengths. Somebody messaged me the other day asking if I went back in daily 30. Nope. I mean, I haven't been in that group for a while, so I don't know if it's still as prompt based as it used to be, but I've definitely drifted away from prompt based. The closest I get to prompt based are my categories that I post, but I still like set my own goals for it, and their categories not like specific. So sometimes I can have 3 or 4 different projects that would fit in that category, and then I get to pick whichever one I want. So there's that. Now, the things that I do, like all the goals that I have set for myself, the splitting something in 12 pieces to finish by the end of the year, the 5 pieces that I have specific goals for each month, the categories, they're all based off of other groups that I've played in, and I found what worked best for me. And then I just started doing it instead of having to be in a group in order to do it. So there's that. Yeah, it's still a lot of prompts and they can be repetitive. I mean, naturally, right? That's something Vicky always struggled with during reading and stitching. She's like, we've used this like all the time, but it's what worked for whatever book she was doing. So you're going to run into that. There's only so many unique things out there. I'm starting to get hungry for lunch. Oops. What'd you think of the cinnamon roll, Ryan?
It was good.
Has your sister been up yet today?
Yeah, she is. What happens if I click this?
Do I turn the screen off?
Do I click it?
I'd prefer you don't. I'm using the pattern. Oh, hey. You could take that trash out for me?
It's one of my chores.
Yes.
Okay. So put up dishes and take out the trash.
Yes.
Yeah. Half one, but oh, it's not even that full. Oh, what?
I don't know if it has a bag, so it may just be take it to the trash and dump it. Dump
Okay, I
it.
gotta take the boxes next to it.
I need them taken.
Okay.
Okay, we're finishing up here. If you have any guesses for how many stitches we've done today, my first project, I started at 70 stitches and went to over 100-ish. We did a daily 100 on Alice. We did the 100-ish on Mad Tea Party, and then whatever we've done on this one. So if that gives you an idea of how to guess. We're supposed to put up our Christmas decorations today, but it's supposed to rain. Hubby's been stringing lights on a wreath for over an hour. Oh, goodness. I don't even know that we have any outdoor decorations at this point. We kind of downsized a lot when we moved. Because if we're being realistic, like, nobody around here feels like putting anything up. Like, I have indoor, we have a tree, we have lights and stuff like that. But that's about as far as it goes around here. 358 for John. Megan says 328. Laurel says 350. Oh, I missed a lot. Okay, 358 for John. Heather says 345. Kate says 320. Sorry. Megan says 328. That's Kate. And Laurel says 350. And Stitchin' Darlin says 324. Don't Run says 411. And Suki says 382. Dang, my tablet died. Brian,
Yeah.
is there a plug back there for this?
Back where?
And that on that black thing back there? Should be.
Like you?
Yeah. We'll see if it pulls up on my phone, but I don't know. Accio, you got faith. 521. I love it. That's Accio Whip is another floss tube. It's Erica and Kevin. Yeah. Let's see. Nope. Didn't update. Okay. Man, Tea Party. Sandy says 250. All right, I'm going to start counting now. Oops. Today. Oh, okay. Where did my stitches go? Okay. Apparently, do not let your whip die or your tablet die when you're using a counter because it reset my stitches for today. Luckily, I knew where I was at. Alrighty. Eight, 9, 10, 12. All right, so grand finale stitching. Hold on, let me mark this. Is 323. So Holly had 309, Betty had 335. That's over. I said 323. Kate, John said 358, so that's over. Heather said 345, that's over. Megan said 328. You were so close, but you went over too. Laurel says 350. Stitch and Darlin said 324. You were over by one stitch. Okay, so it looks like my two closest are Kate and Holly. Both said 309, but that was the closest without going over. So, Kate and Holly for today. I love the 521. I knew I wasn't anywhere near there, but That's great, Faith. 23. Holly and Kate. I will be having this raffle on the 30th. So I will see y'all again on Friday. Friday the 29th and Saturday the 30th. So 2 more chances to get in on the raffle before we draw for November. We'll go into December. Eventually, I'm going to get somebody on Twitch to help me with the Twitch games. I got 50 stash patterns loaded into Notion. Very nice. While we were hanging out here. I don't have a time for Friday just yet. I will post it because it'll be our kit and stitch. So when I post, the different kits on the community board to vote on, I'll have a time for y'all. That's awesome. See, body doubling, it's great. I got 300 stitches in. You got 50 patterns. I also loaded some fabric into Notions with y'all earlier. So it's awesome. I love Notion so much. All right, so that's it for me today. I'm going to go get some lunch. And I know that this is a holiday for a lot of people, not everybody. So I hope you enjoy your week. I hope you enjoy your family. I'll have a floss tube Monday, Tuesday-ish. So if you're not here on Friday because you are celebrating your holiday, that's great. I hope you have a wonderful night. And see you on Saturday. If you're celebrating between now and then, I hope you really enjoy it. It's all about spending time with family. The food is just a perk. So have a wonderful day, and I will see y'all soon.